Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors, and I work to help my tribe, the people who subscribe to my YouTube channel, to make better business decisions, better investment decisions, to put their assets in such categories that they get to keep more of what they make. In other words, taking advantage of the tax code. And then my ultimate goal is to help them to build family wealth so that they make a difference in the family, in their family, and the people that come behind them. I'm a retired financial advisor. I'm 76 years old, so I have a world's life experience that I want to share with you. And something's happening right now, and as I reflect back, and as I often do, I see a change. And what I mean by change is that something happens that creates tremendous opportunity for those people who are there to take advantage of it. And first of all, recognize the change. In my life, I remember the change from radio to TV. Yeah, we used to sit around at night and listen to the Lone Ranger and different detective shows on the radio. And then Howdy Doody appeared, and a number of different cowboy shows, Gene Autry and Dale Evans, and a lot of TV. That was a change. And if you got in front of it and participated in it, you made a lot of money. Then as a teenager, and I was talking to Nita about this, Elvis Presley and the Beatles came into my life. And I just saw a piece by Bruce Springsteen and how he and the East Street Band, they went back into their early days, and then they're in their 70s and they're issuing a record now, and how he put himself and his group of people in the path of that change, and how it really changed his life and affected his career. Then as I got more involved in the stock market, I realized that one of the big changes was a computer. It really didn't affect me because I was not of that astute knowledge. I was a financial advisor in the early 90s, and yeah, they told us that we were going to use these little boxes with keyboards, and I fought it. I didn't want to. I could fill the papers out by hand, but eventually I did. And then I think what really hooked me was the change in the late 90s that introduced me to the internet. And it was introduced through Microsoft and Windows. And how I saw that this would be a tool that would really work for me. And then that internet just exploded, that I could search anything and everything. At first, it was through Yahoo, and I got my email through AOL, and that all kind of changed. And it switched to Google, and then in the early 2000s, e-commerce and Amazon came. And did I get in front of that change? No, not really. I wasn't smart enough investing. Now, as a financial advisor, we had advice that said that computers were going to be in everything, and the internet was going to be a part of your life. And we had a fund called the Strategy Aggressive. And I remember the fund manager telling us that everything was going to have a computer in it, and this is what you needed to put your clients in. And we did, but there was a bubble. It was overbuilt. It was overplayed, and companies like Pets.com never really had any business plan. All they had was a URL and a spot on the internet. And so that bubble burst. And then I saw the introduction of the smartphone. I fought it. I did not think it had a place in my life, and I really didn't recognize the potential of Apple, so I didn't really individually invest in it. But then then after I retired, really, I retired in 2005, and I stepped back and I started looking at the stock market more as of something I wanted to learn more about and study. And really not until about 2012 or 13 did I get really active and say, I don't want mutual funds and I don't want ETFs. I need to really understand where this world is going. And that's when I really started reading and understanding, first of all, how we got to where we are and how the geopolitical system is set up. And then I started reading the Big Nine, and I learned about artificial intelligence and machine learning and where that was going. And that's when I really got active in buying the stocks I wanted to own for the rest of my life. And they've served me well. I've grown with Apple and Google and Amazon and Facebook and Microsoft, and more recently, I've gotten on the bandwagon with Tesla. In fact, I'm going this Saturday over to Atlanta to test drive a Tesla. So I got in front of that, and with all the turmoil that's going on with the election and the pandemic, it dawned on me that I'm approaching another area of change, an enormous area of change. And I can stay with my Apple, Google, Amazon, my 7 stocks plus Square and Tesla. And I can achieve my 33%, which is kind of the average what I've been achieving over the last 4 or 5 years in my stock market. But then I said, wait a second. We are in the midst of something that is going to change the world. We are in the midst of something that is comparable to World War II, and the fact that everybody in the world is saying this can't happen again, and they are going to drive the change that to make sure this doesn't happen again. And so I'm looking at my big 6, and I'm saying Google's going to play a part of that. Hey, Tim Cook said to Jim Cramer earlier about in January, Jim, you look back at Apple 20 years in the future, and you look back at Apple, and you won't remember us for the smartphone. You'll remember us for healthcare and how we changed the world of health. And I thought about that, and then I'm reading this book, Lifespan, and it's by David Sinclair. He's a PhD at Harvard, and he's studying the lifespan. He basically believes that death is a disease, and if you cure the causes, you can live exponentially longer. He says the average life in the future will be 150, and it's going to be driven by biotech. And this book was actually published prior to the pandemic. So there is no mention of the pandemic whatsoever in it, other than at one point he says it's possible. It's possible there will be a pandemic. And so, again, I'm thinking about this, and you've probably maybe seen, I've done 2 videos that said that I believe I'm going to be able to take part of my portfolio and allocate it to some investments and achieve a 5x, maybe even a 10x return on those investments. Well, that's not going to be Apple and Google. And some of you think I've waffled or I flipped. No, I think what I've done is woken up and taken advantage of the years of experience that I've had and said, the Beatles changed the world. Elvis Presley changed the world. Bruce Springsteen stepped in and took advantage of that. And I'm in a position right now that the world is about to change again because this pandemic can't happen again. So, as a result of that, there is going to be an enormous amount of energy applied to the thought that this can't happen again. And it is going to be a focus that is actually going to be stronger than 5G because the consequences of it happening again are so severe that there is just going to be an immense amount of money spent to see to it that it doesn't happen again. So my dilemma, it becomes one of, who are these companies? Who is the $4 stock on the NASDAQ market right now that could potentially become a $400 stock because of something that they develop, that they invent, that makes sure it never happens again? Who is that? Well, I don't know. And I'm searching my books. I did come up with one in here, and I'm digging to find out who they are. And so I'm reaching out to you, my tribe, my viewers, and saying, what if we put our minds together, and rather than just Carrie looking for this, we all looked at it for it because we recognize the potential of it. We recognize this is not just another happening in events. This is not the election. I mean, whether it's Trump or Biden really isn't going to matter. Not relative to me making 5 or 10x in a stock over the next 12 months. They have nothing to do with it. Whatever they do is not going to change what's going to happen. It's just not going to change it. So I'm reaching out to you, and I want to have a place to meet. So I'm doing this. I'm making a commitment that I'm going to do a Sunday live stream where and that's where we'll start talking about it, and you'll understand in more depth what I'm looking for, and you'll share your thoughts with me, and we'll just create a movement that says, yeah, this is where we want to go, and we feel good about it, and there's a consensus of it, and that's what we want to invest in. Now, I don't want a stadium full of people. I want interested people. So I'm tying it to the membership function of YouTube, and that is you go to below my video and you punch join, and it leads you to where you can join. Now and again, to keep it to those people who are only interested, there is a ticket. There's a price to the ticket, and it's $3.99, less than a cup of Starbucks coffee. But it will bring us down to people who are really interested in what I'm trying to do here. I heard a statement on Squawk Box, and I totally agree with it. The market of the future, and when I say the future, I'm saying 2021, is not going to be about the stock market. It's going to be about stocks. It's going to be about being in the right stocks. Because the other consequence of this coronavirus was, let's call it Robin Hood. There's a lot of amateur investors out there who are just throwing money at things called Workhorse or Eastman Kodak or Lemonade or even Zoom. Even Zoom is. Have you've probably attended Zoom meetings? Have you ever paid anything for them? I haven't either. I never have. It's a wonderful business. It just doesn't make any money, and I don't know how they're going to. So there are some stocks that are going to crash and burn as we get through whatever we're going to get through. We're going to have another stimulus package, so a lot of them will stay afloat for a while. But it's going to come down to stocks, winners and losers. It's not going to be the whole market like it has been as we pumped $5 trillion into the market in the last 8 months. And I recognize that it looks like Biden's going to win, or even if Trump wins, there's going to be another stimulus package, and this market will continue to go up. But there are going to be some setbacks, which are fine. But the opportunity is built around this change, and it's going to be driven by biotech. I'm convinced of that, and I know that when I talk like this, some of you don't that you want me to tell you that Neo is the survivor, and that some stock is where you should put your money. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I want to help you make good investment decisions. I want you to keep more of what you make, and I want you to be in a position to build family wealth. Truly, if we can pick a $4 stock that turns into a $400 stock as a result of something that they invent that is going to change the world you live in, you're going to find another Amazon. You're going to find another Apple, but it's going to be in biotech. And I want to help you find it. And I want you to help me find it. So do what you need to do. Be a part of it if you want to. If you don't, that's okay too. We're going to do fine. If we find one that's 10x or 100x, look at, and is it possible? Qualcomm went up 2,600%. Netflix, I think, went up 3,500%. There is going to be a biotech that's going to go up 3,500%. I'll guarantee it over the next, probably over the next year. And it's our task to find it. So join me Sunday at 3 p.m. Live stream on YouTube. And let's find this thing and reap the rewards.